Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi, and last week was kind of a doozy. So I was coming back from my vacation with my husband. It was not long after my surgery, and yes, so my weight is up a lot. And don't worry, because I have a plan and I'm not just gonna let myself slide back up. My weight, so last week I told you guys that on October 3rd I was at 180.4, and as of October 10th I was at 183.7. So that was 3.3 pounds up from the previous week. So as I've said before, my goal range now is the 170s. So as long as I'm in the 170s at the end of the week, I'm happy with that. So I am definitely out of that range, and I'm aware of it, and I am going to correct it. So what my plan is, as I had said, I was in maintenance, but I've kind of gotten thrown off. So my maintenance plan is to switch between 3 days of fasting a week and 2 days of fasting a week. So if I ever get knocked out of my goal range, my plan is just to go back to 3 days a week until I get back into that range. So that's the plan. But the next couple of weeks are still going to be kind of weird. I have some different things going on, which I will, share with you as it all unfolds. So anyway, I was just getting back from vacation this last week, and I really wanted to jump back into my 3 days of fasting, but there were two things that I realized. The first was that last Friday was my youngest son's birthday, and I didn't want to fast that day because I just wanted to be able to celebrate with the family. We were inviting a friend over and gonna have cake and dinner with them, and so it wasn't going to work out to have my normal 3 days fasting schedule. And I really prefer not to fast on Saturdays either. So I could have just done like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but I really don't like fasting on Saturdays. That's like my least favorite day to fast. I've done it before, but I just prefer not to. So, and then, my plan was I was going to do a 2-day fast on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So 2 days and then Thursday to fast. But then I realized that this was the week before my cycle was going to start, my period. And I had been wanting for a really long time to experiment with a different fasting schedule the week before my period, because I have watched so many videos from Dr. Mindy Pelz. I've mentioned her on my channel before. I really like watching her videos. And she is she's very adamant about fasting differently for your cycle, obviously, if you're a woman. So what she says is, and I will post a video about this, there's so many videos she has about fasting and hormones, but the one I'm going to post hopefully will at least give an overview. She says that for women under 40, which is me, just barely, for days 20 through 28 of your cycle, you should not be in ketosis, and you should add in hormone building foods, which are beans, squash. Now these, she says, build progesterone, which is what you want to be building the week before your cycle. So beans, squash, potatoes, quinoa, citrus fruits and tropical fruits, dark leafy greens, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, grass-fed beef, organic poultry, and wild seafood. So, and the thing that she talks about a lot is that, and when she does these videos and talks about hormone building and fasting differently for your hormones, the people who follow her, I'd say maybe the majority of them are on the ketogenic diet. So they're never eating any of these foods because these are really, these are not ketogenic foods. They are higher carb. they're healthy foods, but they're not low carb. So her recommendations are for people, I feel like they're geared more towards people who are doing keto. She wants them to pull out of keto that week before their period. And sorry, so let me go forward. I only mentioned the people, women under 40. Women 40 to 45, the recommendations are the same, but just to be aware of dropping progesterone as you are moving into getting closer to menopause. So, and then 55 and older, she says you can fast anytime, but just to throw in a feast day once a week or once a month. And again, this is more geared towards, I feel like these recommendations are more geared towards people who are doing keto. Now, I don't really know why this is. Like, she's never really said why exactly you shouldn't be in ketosis the week before. She just repeats that a lot. But if you know, and if you have any more insight to that, please leave it in the comments below, because I really don't know the deeper reason why you shouldn't get into ketosis that week. And I'm also not really sure what it is about those foods that she suggests that builds progesterone, if there's a certain vitamin that is in them or what, I'm not sure. So if you do have any more insight, please do leave that below. But she does repeat this information a lot, and I do trust her wisdom. I think she knows a lot about fasting and about women and hormones. And so anyway, I've just always wanted to experiment with this, but I guess never felt really like I had a huge urgency to do so, because with alternate day fasting, I feel like my cycles have always been fairly regular. My cycles are between 26 to 28 days, and they've pretty much stayed within that range. In fact, they've become more regular since I started alternate day fasting than they were before. So yeah, because I'm not on the keto diet, I never really felt a huge need, but I have in the past tried to add those foods in on my eating days the week before my cycle, but I've never adjusted my fasting schedule. So again, coming back to this week, the thing that I wanted to change was that I just decided that I would only fast Monday and Thursday instead of doing the 2-day fast and then Thursday. And I also decided that that Thursday fast would be a modified fast, and I would, so that I, maybe didn't get into ketosis or whatever, and added in a 500 calorie meal with these foods that I mentioned before. So, and the reason for me that I would experiment with this is because, even though my cycles have been regular, I do have some issues the week before my cycle. For me, there will be a day or maybe 2 days the week before where I feel moody, just really irritable, or sometimes kind of depressed. My sugar cravings go up typically that week before, and then fasting is more difficult. I would say maybe the 3 days before my cycle starts. And I've heard this a lot from different women, that the week before their period starts, that fasting is really hard. And so I do believe there's something to that our bodies are telling us. But I feel like, there's something to it, but I'm really not sure what the magic answer is for everyone. But this is just the beginning of an experimentation for me. So I will continue to let you know how that went. And then obviously I will experience weight gain the week before my period, but that's just water retention, and it's temporary. So I've never really worried about that all too much. And I will also mention that I started about 4 months ago, I started adding in this, it's a progesterone cream, and this is the Now Solutions brand, and it's a lavender scented one. And so this is just supposed to help balance your progesterone if you feel like that might be low. And I found this on Amazon, and it was really quite inexpensive, so I will link it below. But also, so I've been adding that in. I do feel like maybe that has helped with my moods a little bit. And Dr. Mindy recommends for women who suspect that their hormones might be off that you should do a Dutch test. It's a hormone panel that will tell you if any of your levels are off. I have not done that personally, but I would love to do it someday. So moving on, last week, so Monday, I just did a full fast. I just did my regular fast because I really, really wanted to do a full fast. And that was day 20 of my cycle. So I was like, well, it should be fine. And I really just wanted so badly to do a full day fast after things had been off for so long and taking days off for vacation. So that's what I did. Then Tuesday and Wednesday, I went ahead and ate. So Tuesday, this is not related to the progesterone foods, but I'm going to mention it anyway. I had some kefir, water kefir that I bought at Trader Joe's. I bought it because when I had my surgery, I had to take antibiotics, and so I feel like right now I need to rebuild my gut microbiome. So I bought that. It was pretty good. It was kind of bitter because it was a grapefruit flavor. I'm going to be looking down at my notes here. And then for lunch, I had a chicken and bean soup. This was kind of like a chili flavor and really good. And then I had a mandarin orange, which I had about one of these every day, kind of fulfilling that citrus fruit category. And then for dinner, I made some soup. This was like a chicken soup with squash and carrots and let's see what else, potatoes and noodles, and it's really good. So I had that with some sourdough bread, which I love sourdough bread. This is my favorite kind that I get. I buy it at Sprouts. So then on Wednesday, for lunch, I had some leftover soup, and I added some nutritional yeast to my soup. And this is another thing that I've heard is really good the week before your cycle, but I'm not sure why exactly, but I think it is because there's a lot of B vitamins in it. And so I added that. And then for dinner, I had mushroom pizza with a salad, those leafy greens. Okay, then Thursday was my modified fast day. So my 500 calorie, I calculated it and it was probably like 520 calories or something. My meal was a salad with Italian dressing and feta. I had an orange, and I had a 1/6 of a pound of grass-fed beef and a patty with salt. And then I had a small baked potato with butter, sour cream, and then some nutritional yeast. And how I felt like this did kind of spike my hunger a little bit, just like modified fasting has in the past for me. But, after about an hour, my appetite kind of went away again and I felt fine. So I felt fine. And then Friday, I had leftover soup again, and then a half of a sweet potato with some butter. So that was like my week pretty much with this experiment with not fasting a lot and adding in those foods. How did it go? Well, it's really hard to say because Monday I came down with a cold for the first time in over a year since I started alternate day fasting. I got sick. I have no doubt that it was because a few factors, the surgery, taking antibiotics, going out of town and eating not well for 5 days. And then when I got home, all of my kids were sick. So yes, and it was just a regular cold. But so after all of that, I came down with a cold and I was sick all week. And it wasn't like the worst cold in the world. It wasn't like the flu or anything. It was just a regular cold, but it was, all of the symptoms. Moving through each day was a different symptom, and I'm still kind of getting over it now. I don't know if you can tell in my voice, but yeah, so I wasn't feeling great, and it's hard to say with that added in how it really went. I'll definitely experiment again with this, probably on my next cycle, or the cycle that I'm in right now, just to try it again when I'm in a more normal state of health and fasting and whatnot. So I think it would probably take like a couple times experimenting for me to really know if this was helpful or not. As far as weight, I would say I didn't notice that it helped with that because my weight was up pretty high, but that was also because of these other factors. So all that to say, it is kind of hard to tell, and I wouldn't freak out about this. Like, if this is all new information to you and you're like, what am I supposed to be doing this stuff? Yeah, don't freak out. But if you have been experiencing any irregularities or just really bad premenstrual symptoms, then it is something to consider. And especially if you have been on the keto diet and you've been having those issues as well. So yeah, it's definitely something we want to pay attention to. We want to make sure that our hormones are regulated and working properly. I have absolutely no reason to believe that alternate day fasting in and of itself is bad for your hormones. I think that it's actually quite good in the long run and like overall. So yeah, I don't want to put this out there to like worry anyone. It's just kind of like, hey, here's this information and maybe it will help you. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't. So, yeah, let me know if you have any experience with this and if you have any added information. And I thank you for watching my video, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.